Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and we're out in the shop. Yes, we're having our trunk coffee, and we're getting ready to lick a cat over. In my last video I showed the power supply and that it was only putting out 10 volts, and even my just a little light bulb in my test light drawed it down to 8 volts. So I can only imagine what this motor is going to pull. So that ain't going to work. So I contacted them and let them know that this was the issue and that it only had 10.68 volts and that it was bent and twisted and had been hit too hard. So he comes back to me and tells me to open a claim or open a return case, and that he would ship me another one, a replacement, overnight, and told me not to worry about sending that junk back. So the only thing that's good out of it's the aluminum and maybe the rail if you can get it unsoldered from the board. That would be a nice little rail to have. But anyway, so he went ahead and refunded me. So I just sent him a message earlier and said, well, I thought you were sending me a replacement, so I don't know. So I'm not going to spend any more time wasting on him, or wasted on him. So I've come up with a new plan. Now, I have built power supplies, bent top power supplies in the past. Some are successful and some of them are not. Just depends on your power supply and how old it is and whatever. They do have different actions. The older ones are the better ones to get because they didn't have all that bells and whistles and stuff. You had voltage no matter what. You didn't have to put in all these different load resistors and stuff like that, but I'm not going to use a load resistor unless I feel like I need to. However, I did order some so that if I need to, it's better to have it and not need it than it is to need it and not have it. So I'm going to put you down here and show you what I've come up with so far, and one of these we're hoping is going to be a good candidate for the mill power feed. So we're already ready to make our plates, but we can't make our plates until we get the motor so I can mock the motor and the plates together. So I'm waiting on that. So for now, we'll put you down here and show you what we got. Alright, so this one here is a little older. Not very old, but old enough. And I want the most amps that I can get out of it. So we're looking at let's see, 650 watts DC output. The 3.3 volts carries 36 amps. The 5 volt plus 36 amps, plus 12 volt 1 34 amp, plus 12 volt 2 NA, not applicable, and then minus 12 volt is 1 amp, and plus 5 volt SB is 2 amps. So the one that we're concerned about is the 12 volt 1, which is going to be any one of these yellow wires. Every single one of these yellow wires are 12 volt. All the black wires are ground. All the red ones are 5 volt. Every single one of them, even in this plug. And you see I've got it jumped right there because I've already tested this one. And you also have orange right here, which is 3.3 volts. Is that right? Yeah, 3.3 volts. We ain't worried about none of that. We could care less about any of it. The only wires that we are concerned about is going to be the green one. It can be hooked to any ground. So you hook a switch in that green one and you're ready to rock and roll. The rest of these will be cut. All the yellow ones will be saved and put aside. And those are the ones that we're concentrating on. Once we're done with all the yellow ones, we'll wire them all together, put them into one wire, and run them to our power. Maybe. I might separate them and make it so I can use several different things on this power supply. But anyway, let's look at the next candidate, which is a, well, I can't hardly see that or understand. Kintec power supply. And this one is 680 watts where the other one was 650. So this one on 12 volt is 22 amps. So far, this one's got the bigger amps. So this one's going to be our go-to. Yeah, 22 amp would work, but that's amazing. 5 volts got 50 amps. That don't seem right, but it is, I guess. They put it on there, it must be right, unless it's a typo. Alright, so then our next one here is only a 600 watt. And it's probably going to carry less. So yeah, it's only got 20 amps and 20 amps on plus 12 volt 2 and plus 12 volt 1 is 23 amps. So still, this one's got more amps. So I want the most amps that I can carry in case I want to put something else to it. I can run 2 things at one time. Not that that's ever happened or going to happen, but we never know. So we're going to plug this in as soon as I get a cord. So now I've got a cord, and this does not have a switch on it. And we're going to take this shunt out just to show you that this thing's not going to work. Alright, no power. But the very moment that you short the green one to the black one next to it, we have power. Well, if I can get it to go in. There we go. So now we got power. Don't touch that with anything because it's got 12 volt or, well, maybe not. That's probably just grounded. Never mind. That was a dumb question or dumb statement. So these has got the less wires to deal with. So this one's definitely an older one. Now I could probably use these Molex connectors and just I'd have to find some females because these are the males. Actually, they'd be the females in a male body. So we could use them Molex connectors, but they're not very reliable. So we're just going to cut these and separate them. So first thing you do, unplug it. You don't want to get no shocks in life. So I think what I'm going to do is leave all these plugs on it, because this is going to be hidden up underneath something, and I'll just tape this all up, leave it the way it is, even with the shunt in it. It doesn't matter. That way, if I ever need to use this for something else, I can. So I'll just drape that aside like that, taped up, and let's see. See, every one of these have 12 volt on them. So I don't want to limit myself to anything. So we're going to use, these are for the video cards, so I don't really want to destroy that in case I ever need to use this for something else, which I probably won't. But who knows? So we've got 2 of these that have the SATA connectors on them. So I'm going to keep this the way it is. This one's the one we're going to cut. So I'll just take and cut, let's see, cut all of them off. And we got a plug, Molex connector plug. I could have saved that one too, but it had 2 wires coming out of it. Alright, so we're going to strip these. Hopefully, these strippers are turning out to not work very good. I missed my other ones. They're identical to this, but these for some reason likes to cut my wire. So we're going to strip the 2 black ones. Well, we're going to strip them all. Alright, so the black ones, I'm going to wire them together. Really don't need to. So now we've got ground, 5 volt, and 12 volt. So we're going to back this back here. I'm going to use black. I'm just going to clamp that back here so it don't reach up there and touch all the rest of them. And who knows, I might be able to just use that for a connection point. Alright, so now we get our test light. Or I'm sorry, we'll get our fluke and turn that to 12 volt. Now these are separated. So now let's go ahead and put some power to it. Alright, so we've got, this should be 5 volts. And it is. And this one should be 12 volt. And it is. This one didn't measure that, but that's what I was looking for in this one. So alright, let's go to the 3 volt and see if that's right. Well, look at there, 3.941. So there's really not a whole lot you have to do to make one of these into a bench, because the work is already there, it's done. So, you know, basically you can leave all these plugs on there. Yeah, if you wanted to clean it up, that's fine. You can go inside here, but I don't recommend that unless you're a professional like Bison is. I knew somebody would kick out of that one. If you're not Bison professional, don't do this at home. But yeah, you could clean them up depending on your confidence in your work and what you know how to do. If you're a dummy and don't understand what all this stuff does, then it's probably best you not mess with it and find somebody who can and have them make it for you. So I'm just going to leave all this stuff on it, and then we're just going to mount this somewhere under the bench, and then I'll run a black wire and a red wire, a black wire and a yellow wire to my feed controller on my mill, and this one will get taped back and taped to the thing until if one day I wanted to make a 5-volt hookup. Can't imagine what I would need a 5-volt for, but there's always an option of using USB so for a power connection. So this will just run straight to the feed box and it's done. All the rest of this will get wrapped up, taped up, and out of the way. Something like that right there, and just wrap it to the side that's smooth, because you don't want to cover up your vents, because these things will get hot. I'll have to rewrap it, but yeah, I can just zip tie it there somehow or whatever, don't matter. So I'm just using one of the yellows and one of the blacks. Alright, so we're going to get 2 of these little small ones. That will fit. I'm going to have a magnifying glass over here. Everything's blurry to me anymore. Yep, that one will fit. So we get 2 of these small ones. I can get it out of the box. And we'll strip this down. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and hook this into that. Hook the black on the other side. Alright, so now we'll have that off. Now when we hook our power up to it, we don't need that in there no more. So now we have no power. Check it out, guys. So now we've got 12 volt. Going across the ground, and we've got 12 volt, 12.515 volt, and we got 5 volt on that one. Like, we're not going to use that one, but it's there if I need to later. So now let's just turn this off. Now we have no power to nothing. Let's just check that theory and see if that's correct. No power. So now it's just as simple as put it up and run the wire over to the forward reverse switch. Alright guys, I have decided to dig into this thing, and because I had to make a bracket in order to mount it to the underneath the shelf. So I just took a piece of cyan aluminum, cut it out, and just had a piece of scrap that I cut down to fit. And I decided to use some small pop rivets to pop rivet it to it. That way I have now a way to mount it with 4 screw holes, 2 on each side. So then we can go ahead and put our plastic back in there. This might be an opportunity to see if maybe I could go ahead and put the switch in this. Because if I put the switch inside of this, I can just reach up underneath the shelf there and flick it off, and I ain't got to find another mount to mount it. So we need to figure out how this is going to mount. So we've got that sticker right there. So we know that this goes in this orientation. So let me just stick this down there temporary just to see. Because I kind of want my plug facing the outlet. So you know what? I might be able to do that. Put a switch right here. Because let's look and see how this is going to mount. I kind of like to have it up here like this. That way all I gotta do is just flip the switch. But I'll have this stuff here out of the way. This stuff ain't gonna be there. But I could mount it back here like that and have my switch right here. Sad part is you'll be sticking out there in the middle of nowhere. So let's try turned around this way. I don't want to drill into my sticker. So it looks like it's going to have to be in this side, and I'm just going to have to use some wire loom stuff to cover that and drape it up and mount it to the underneath the shelf with a bracket. And we can go ahead and put our switch right here. So I think I'm just going to put it right in the center. So let's find out if center is going to be okay. Alright, let's go mount it. All I need is a screwdriver and some screws. So now what we're going to do is take and mount this to where the switch is facing forward and the fan is facing down. And we're just going to mount that right there. So, trick is going to be getting one screw in it. So it's a good thing my drill thing has a magnetic tip on it. And what do? Knock the damn thing off. And this thing's not easy to hold there like that. Alright. Then we'll come to the other side, and you guys are in my way, I'm sure. So we just go ahead and drill that, or stick that in. All right. So now we've got that set there, or mounted to the bottom of the shelf. Now I think they went through up here just a hair. I got to take a grinder and grind the tip off of it. But I needed 1/2 inch. So now these here will get wrapped up, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. And I'm going to make a faceplate for this like I did the other side. And I'll just extend my faceplate out to here and just kind of make it turn. And then this one will get ran back in behind there and over to the switch. To all this stuff here. So actually it'll run to this wire here. This wire's already ready. So all I gotta do is unloosen that, take these wires out, run them back there to meet these wires, the yellow and the black. We're gonna wrap the red one up and zip tie it to this. And that should do it. So my battery's getting ready to die on me. So it's blinking. So hope y'all got something out of this. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.